Now, that old interview of where Tim Pool, by the way, Tim's implicated in all of this.
I said I wasn't going to talk about this unless any more information came out, but I've gathered some new evidence, so here it is. Also, I keep getting shadow banned whenever I talk about this subject, so heartfelt F you to whoever or whatever is causing that. That's why I'm back with more. Do you guys remember how 2 nights ago I spent almost 2 hours on the stream discussing the whole Jack Murphy DC school district situation, where the evidence seems to bear out that he was double dipping and taking 2 salaries from the school district and got fired for it? I do, because that stream, another stream, and 2 of my videos have been shadow banned on and off since their upload. Then, yesterday, the quartering, Jeremy, made this video addressing this article and this Twitter post and called it, as you can see, a bombshell report. Now, if you've been following my coverage of this issue, I got past the Jack Murphy videos and the cuckold and all that really fast, and I've been covering the bigger issues like this. This is not a bombshell if you've been following me. This has been the point for me from days ago. So while the big YouTubers were focused on laughing at the cuckold stuff, I was reporting on the bigger picture. So it's a little frustrating to me that my video on this has been shadow banned, while the quartering, Brittany Venti and others are dropping it as if it's breaking news. This isn't an attack on them, it's just really frustrating as a tiny channel that's vying for relevancy, particularly because my live streams have been experiencing significant technical difficulties over the past 2 days. Anyway, so the quartering went on to his podcast that he does with Bering and Count Dankula. It's called The Incredible Salt Mine. And he said this.
The Cuck article, this is why he got fired. And then there's even a book out there that alleges, now this, I can't confirm or deny this because I'm not buying an $80 book to know, but the claim is that inside the book, the author names him and says that he was double dipping on paychecks, and there's other claims of impropriety, that he didn't get fired from cancel culture. Like, I don't believe that anymore.
Look, again, I'm not attacking Jeremy in particular here. I'm not specifically going after him. But dude, you've been on this since the beginning. Why would you not spend $80 on the book so that you could report on it with some kind of relevancy? You've been happy to make it about Jack's sex life, right? This is what we moved on from after the first day. Like, we talked about it, we mentioned it, we're like, okay, it's hypocritical, but that's it, move on, right? It seems like this is about easy clicks to the bigger YouTubers, which, fair enough, right? Who am I to tell them what to do with their own channels? But the larger point here is that the investigative journalism necessary to figure out the relevancy of this scandal in a larger context has been completely lacking for most of the bigger channels covering this. $80 is small potatoes to a channel like The Quartering. So if he really wanted to cover this in any kind of depth, he could have. I think that a lot of people didn't think this was going to last. I think that's why Tim Pool has been silent on it. I think that's why people made it about the memes, because I think that a lot of them, they just thought it would all go away. But it hasn't gone away. It has staying power for whatever reason. And so, look, if I had $80 to buy that book, I would have been on top of it as fast as I could. But since I didn't, I covered the school district scandal anyway with the resources that I did have. The article, the Twitter post, 48 hours before these other big channels touched it. The point here is journalistic integrity. It has to be more about just clicks and about laughing at funny memes, right? People want to know what's going on. Anyway, so beyond this, so I want to move on from that, but I wanted to get it out of my system too. But Jeremy said something really interesting in the TISM podcast as well. He claimed that Tim Pool's implicated in the Jack Murphy stuff. Take a listen here.
Now, that old interview of where Tim Pool, by the way, Tim's implicated in all of this, but Tim interviews him. Jack refers to that article as, I think, satire is what he said. But I don't believe that either, based on the same guy that posts like his sex toy arsenal to the internet.
This could be the answer as to Tim's silence on all of this. Does he feel as though he's implicated in Jack's actions? Well, look, here's something interesting. Someone discovered an old interview from 2018 between the two of them back in Jack's 10 Square days, when he was still working for the cool district. The cool district. No, he's working for the school district. Sorry for the bad audio in this interview that I'm about to play. It's not mine. It came with the clip. Here you go.
I am here in Washington, D.C. at A Night for Freedom, and sitting with me is Jack Murphy. That's your title. Actually, let me start over. That's not your real name, though. No, but I should call you that. Yeah, that's where we're going. Okay. I am here in Washington, D.C. at A Night for Freedom. I am joined by Jack Murphy. Now, there has been this ongoing tactic used, I would say, by both sides, and I don't want to accuse either side of being more than the other, but we've seen it a bit, where they dig up old posts or they accuse them of being something they're not, and I think a lot of this false accusations of calling people Nazi or white supremacists has come from the left. Today, I'm going to sit here with Jack Murphy, who is targeted by a campaign specifically doing this, calling you a white supremacist?
Nazi and known associated butcher.
Well, there you go.
Okay, real quick. Jack is about to start talking. Watch his body language. Two things. First of all, this man is clearly uncomfortable, and the way that he's moving indicates to me that he's lying. Second of all, do his movements make any of you guys cringe? Because I can't watch it without going, ooh. I got goosebumps just thinking about it. It's awful. Okay, here you go.
Once Lacey McCauley made these accusations of me, then they went digging through old posts that I had actually deleted. Okay, so they went to like the Internet Archives, as it were, and dug up old stuff that I had written. When I very first started blogging, completely anonymous, no pictures, pen name, everything. My first thing I started writing about was sex and relationships. Right? And one of the things I was writing about were BDSM relationships. Right? So consensual adult sexual relationships. And I wrote a post that the title was, "Do Feminists Have Rape Fantasies?" And the intention of that post was to draw attention to the fact that feminists at the time were shaming other women for electing to engage in sexual activities that they thought were inappropriate. And so I wrote a very provocative, definitely satirical post that basically invited feminists to experience a consensual relationship with a man that was rough and dominant.
Okay, in this same Twitter thread, the user Rico Castro, the same one who posted the interview, by the way, thanks Rico, showed in his receipts here that Tim had deleted this interview in, from what I can tell, is December of 2018 based on the last update to the page. So you can see there at the top, it says in the gray letters, last updated December of 2018. So there you can tell that was when that note was put on. At least I believe that's what that is. Either way, it was at least at the extreme latest, it was January 3rd of this year. So it still means that he's going back and deleting it before he said anything. But based on the update, I think that it was in December of 2018. Put that into the context of what was said by the Quartering. He said Tim is implicated in this. And then think about it. This interview seems to have been deleted long before any of this became known. I also want to point out one more thing in this Twitter thread. So if you go look, here's the screenshot. This user had the good sense to notice that Jack had originally called this rape article, the one that Tim and Jack talk about in this interview, "Feminists Need Rape," is what he called it. He later changed it to "Do Feminists Have Rape Fantasies?" But he used the same URL, allowing evidence of the original title to remain. By the way, in that interview, Jack claims that the article was satire, but based on what's come to light afterwards, as well as all of the files that I read on stream from the Jack Murphy file dump, I don't believe it at all, because we all saw the masculinity coaching and stuff from the Liminal Order in that stream where I went and I took all those files from the file dump and I went through them live for people to see. Now look, I'm not saying that Tim Pool was ever part of Jack Murphy's degeneracy or took or gave money or anything like that. What I'm saying is that if I, 3 years plus after the fact, can find all of this before the big channels did and bring it to light, Tim, with the resources and experience that he has, could have and should have found out all of this long before it turned into a scandal. Furthermore, Tim seems to have deleted his 2018 Jack Murphy interview years ago. Why? I want to know. Why would you do that? I want to hear his answer to that question. I'm still maintaining that I believe Tim just didn't do his due diligence on this. I won't assert that it goes any deeper than that until I see evidence, right? I think, but look, Tim lent his credibility to Jack, and Jack used it to exert influence and build his brand with Tim's audience. And now, Tim will not address it. He won't even mention it. He's ignoring the super chats. He's ignoring his chat in general. It seems like the larger channels will not go any farther than skin deep on this. The quartering finally got around to it yesterday, but I also saw Blair White's video on it, and that was, again, it was just all about the memes, right? And again, it's their channels. Like, those are their channels. They can do what they want. But I think that an honest coverage of this saga brings to light a huge lack of journalistic integrity and effort on part of the alternative media and right-wing influencers. And it seems as though no one wants to address that. You can follow me on Twitter at SeattleiteJ. Like and subscribe if you feel moved to. Comment your thoughts. I love interacting with all of the comments. I'm going to try to stream tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In deference to my East Coast people, I moved the stream an hour earlier than I usually do. Some of the tech issues have been resolved, but I'm waiting on a technician to come and work on the hardware for my internet. So fingers crossed. See you tonight.